This is Dave, and today's big hairy idea is on the power of Post Mortems. So before I actually get into doing a Post Mortem with all of you, some of you might be wondering, what is a Post Mortem? So this is a concept that was really hit home for me during my sophomore year of college. At the time, there was a chess master who was living near our campus. And he came in one day and blew everybody's mind by playing like 10, 12 people all at once and defeating just about all of them. And decided to use that as a jumping off point for starting a chess club on campus. And I decided to sign up and join. And we went every week and he taught us different techniques. And then he dragged us across town to where there was like a real chess club and had the students play against the members of that other chess club. And we sat down one-on-one, he matched us up, and each time we made a move, we recorded it. Each time our opponent made a move, they recorded it, and we got used to kind of playing with the formal chess techniques. And every single one of us got blasted by our opponents in the real chess club. In fact, I think I came the closest to winning. I was more or less even, and at a certain point, this chess master drew me aside. He said I should offer a draw, but I didn't even know such a thing was an option. I didn't know what he was talking about, so I kept playing, but I tried to play for a draw. I didn't know what, and from that point on, everything went right downhill, and I got clobbered in the end. But what was really fascinating is what happened next, because after we finished our games, we then went around back to the beginning, and we had each recorded all of the steps we'd taken. So we went through, we looked at, okay, I did this, then he did that, then I did this, and he did that. And each time we did it, we'd say, well, okay, now when I made this move, here's what I was trying to do. And he might say, so what were you thinking when you made this move over here? And suddenly I was seeing the chess game, not just through my eyes, which, you usually had just one perspective, just your perspective when you're in the middle of a game, but suddenly through the combination of my eyes and my opponent's eyes. And suddenly I might have been trying for one thing, and he might have even missed that and been trying for something else entirely, or he might have completely read my tactic and come up with this whole technique for getting around it, for defending against it, and counterattacking. And I might have seen that he was just trying to defend. I might have missed the counterattack. But suddenly we went over this entire game, and I was able to see how each and every step of the game unfolded through both of our eyes simultaneously. And I think a really good post-mortem, you can probably learn more by going back through it and going through this process in that one time than you can through playing 10, 50, maybe even 100 casual games when you're not going through and analyzing afterwards. So this idea of the post-mortem is to go back through something you've done and to say, okay, what worked for me? And what did I do really well? And what needs work? What was really a learning experience for me that I was able to take from this and go on and take it to a higher level the next time? So I decided to do a post-mortem on the series of videos that I just finished this past week. For those of you who don't know, there was just a period in the Jewish calendar from Passover to the holiday of Shavuos where it's a 49-day period, and there's a period called Sfirat HaOmer. And since I had made a commitment to myself to do 250 videos this year, I figured I would do one video for each day of the Sfirat HaOmer process, because each day has a special energy to it. Also, each week has a special energy to it. So I did another video for every week of the Sfirat HaOmer. And then I threw in a couple more videos for special topics that I wanted to hit. So in total, it was almost 60 videos that I did in just over a month and a half. And for me, it was a real learning process. Again, some things worked very well, some things did not. And now that I'm done, I decided to stop and look at it and say, okay, what worked well and what didn't? And I want to take you through that to kind of share this process with you of my own post-mortem so you can kind of see how it's done. So first of all, what worked? One thing that worked tremendously is the improvement in my comfort in front of the video camera. It's almost painful for me to go back. I've only been doing these videos since March. It's painful to go back and watch these videos of just a couple months ago and see how stiff and frozen I was on camera. And I'm sure a few months from now, I'll look back and I'll see at this video and I'll say, wow, look how stiff and frozen you were on camera. But I'm so much more comfortable in front of the camera now than I was just a few months back. And I think doing these almost 60 videos was a huge contributor to that. Next. This was a subject I really wanted to get a deeper understanding of, the energy of all the days of the Sfirat HaOmer, and I really succeeded in that. Each day I now had a reason I had to go and study what was that day's energy all about, because I had to teach it. And when you need to teach something, you just have to understand it so much better. So doing these videos for whatever audience was watching me really encouraged me to go much deeper in the subject, and I feel my knowledge expanded tremendously. Next, despite not having that many views on each video, I was actually shocked by how wide my reach actually got. Meaning a video might only have 30 views, but there were 60 of them. And some people watched video after video after video, but a lot of people seem to be exposed to a video here, a video there, just things that randomly came up in their feed, or they might have just happened to have some time and saw a video. And so the number of people who saw what I was doing and who connected to me on camera went absolutely through the roof. I was actually shocked because I would see my number of views, like, okay, not that many people are seeing it, but the number of people who walked up to me and talked to me about one of my videos that they'd seen and it impacted them in some way really, really hit me. It's like, wow, it's like everybody knows I'm doing videos now. Not that many are watching it on any given day, but everyone seems to know that I'm actually doing these and is engaged to the videos in some small degree. And what else? I really built some nice systems around this. So I started filming not just one video, but I'd come out and I'd film a chunk in one day. I started creating a system for uploading them, for editing them, for sending out emails, which is the first time I'd ever did that. I had consistency of product to a certain degree, in which case I wore the same thing every day. I stood in the same place every day. And I tried to build systems to make it an easier process than it was when each day I have to come up with a brand new video and somehow come out and figure out how to present it, what I'm going to talk about, and do everything from scratch. So those were some real successes. There are also some things that didn't work so well that could just really use a little bit more work. One of them was the failure to segment my audience. What do I mean by that? So I write several different types of books. Some of them are, as some of my viewers know, are in the biblical fiction area, and deep spiritual teachings is something that is very much that I'm into, and the audience for those books are really into. And I'm also very into personal growth, business techniques. I read other books that are all about how you can be more effective in your life. And when I'm posting something on Facebook, right now I don't have these great systems for having a big following for my spiritual growth side and a big following for my personal growth and business development sides. Everything is just kind of under me, and I tend to post it, and my friends on Facebook tend to be the ones who see it and sometimes share it. But really, my Facebook friends come from both these quarters. They come from the spiritual growth side and from the personal growth side, and they don't necessarily mix. People who connect to my writings on the Age of Prophecy series don't always connect to the size of your dreams, and the people who connect to the size of your dreams don't always connect to Age of Prophecy. So the people who are seeing my videos, I imagine some of them were somewhat turned off by the subjects because it was not really in their area. And I imagine a number of people might have chosen to unfollow me because this guy is just posting every single day about subjects that I don't relate to. I imagine that was their thought process. So had I done a better job of segmenting and figuring out, building up a separate following for my spiritual growth audience than from my personal growth audience, I think that it would have been more effective, and I would have turned less people off and been able to preserve this audience more. I also didn't do a good job of keeping up with videos for this personal growth business development segment. So anybody who was following my daily videos in that area basically went a month and a half without seeing any new videos that were catering to them. So people might have started watching my videos and gotten into a flow with them, and then suddenly, hey, where are the videos that are kind of answering that need? They were just gone. So that was a real problem with the segmentation. Also, the videos tended to build one on another. As I was pointing out, there weren't so many views for any individual video, but so many people told me that they've seen one or more of my videos. So really, the idea of having videos that are building one on the next isn't working so much, or didn't work for me so much in this medium of posting things on Facebook, because people are often seeing the videos for the first time. And I didn't love the process of going back and in each and every video starting again from basic first steps. For me, somebody who had been following each day would find that really dull. But somebody who hadn't been following and seeing their first video might be a little bit lost. I didn't do a good job of balancing those two sides. Next, there was inconsistency with the structure and the quality. One of the real techniques that I'd learned about making videos, as for those who've been watching my videos from the beginning will know that I really got started based on this course we did called the One Funnel Away Challenge. By the way, which is starting again next week. If anybody wants to know about it, how they could get on, they could send me a message and I'll let them know. But it really emphasized that you should go out there and be publishing every day, but also gave a technique, something called the Epiphany Bridge, which shows, usually through stories, how you came to understand a certain point, so that your readers aren't just getting the lessons, but they're seeing the process as well. So as an example, in this video, I started off with the story about going back in college, playing chess with this master, and going in and getting my butt kicked in this other in-town chess club that the master himself, I think, had belonged to. And then seeing this incredible learning experience by going through the game again with the guy who kicked my butt, and realizing that going back over something afterwards can really help you ingrain the lessons far more effectively than just doing something without stopping and analyzing. So that story helped make the point I wanted to make more understandable, I believe, than if I just dug in and said, hey, what worked and what didn't work in my series. That's a structure called the Epiphany Bridge. And I used it sometimes during my series, and other times I didn't. Other times I just jumped directly into the lesson. Now, one positive thing on that side is I was using it more at the end than I was using it at the beginning. So I did feel I had some growth in that area, but really the videos were inconsistent. Somebody who might see a great video and say, wow, I want more of that, and tune in the next day, might have felt like, wow, okay, no, today's video was really not what I'd gotten yesterday. It was something very, very different. So there's the consistency issues with that. Also, one final thing, you're not hearing a very loud bird in the tree in front of me, above me right now, which is a really great thing. But because I wanted to film every day in the same spot, I came outside where there's often some pretty good lighting. It's a little darker now than when I was mostly filming those other videos, but it's pretty good and allowed me to get a little bit of privacy from the family, where they can get away from the house noises. But there's a bird who some days would be like right above me and incredibly loud. And in teaching a video series on spiritual growth, I thought that strangling a bird would probably not be the best, healthiest spiritual thing for me to be doing, and I could never conceive of doing such a thing. But this bird was driving me crazy. It was making it hard for anybody to hear me sometimes. So consistency in terms of, wow, how can I plan out my video series to be in a place where I really have control over the space I'm filming, where I can give that consistency of not only the quality of the videos, but also the content, the background, the circumstances of the video. And that was a real area where, for instance, having a studio would have been perhaps more effective, a place where I could control exactly the circumstances and the setting of the videos. Because when you come outside, sometimes it's an incredibly bright day and it's hard to see. It's the summer in Israel, so it wasn't raining at all, but had I been doing this in the winter, it could have been raining. And there was this bird that I just couldn't control that would make incredible amounts of noise. There's also construction next door that I couldn't control that sometimes would make incredible amounts of noise. So having more control over the product, having more consistency, I think all of that would have helped. So these are some of the things that I took away in my post-mortem from the whole learning experience about doing this series of videos. I think that I'm a much better subject on camera now than I was a month and a half ago. I'm way better than I was 3 months ago when I first started this process. And I hope that by doing this process, by doing the post-mortems, and most importantly, by getting out here every single day and filming a video, I hope I'm just going to get more and more and more natural as time goes on. So I want to leave you with this thought of the power of doing a post-mortem. You know, when you go through something, you almost always learn by experience. But having an experience doesn't always ensure like the same amount of learning. You get some learning from having the experience, but if you have intention in how you're going to learn about the experience, if you go through and do a post-mortem after the videos and look back and say, okay, what really worked for me here? What really didn't work for me here? I think your learning curve is going to go way up, and the experiences you're going through are going to yield that much more productive learning, that much more growth, and you're not going to have to go through the same painful lessons as often if you go through this process. Take care.